What's happening, vibes? I want to talk today about, I guess, being alone like this on the road, because, it really does affect a person. Some people enjoy it. I don't know. Like for me, I've been away for a while now on the road, and it's been like almost 2 years now. I took a little break not too long ago for a few months to worry about my mental health and my physical health, because that's important. I'm glad I took that break, because if I would have stayed on the road the whole entire time, it would have messed me up a lot. But being alone like this, you find out a lot about yourself. You find out a lot about other people. You start to really realize like how people truly feel about you. You know what I mean? You could be there physically for people and emotionally and in all those other ways. Like I'm still there for my family and stuff when it comes to emotionally or maybe financially, but physically that means a lot to some people. I would like to be there for the people that I care about, and I'm always there for everybody. I never let anything get in my way, even if I'm thousands of miles away. I'll emotionally be there, I'll verbally always be there, and I'll financially be there however I can, because that's the whole reason I'm doing this. I'm not doing this because I like driving. I'm good at it, but I don't like it. I don't like sitting in the middle of random places and being alone all the time and being away from the things I love so much. But you got to make sacrifices sometimes in your life to have the things that you strive for. It took a lot out of me, is what I'm trying to basically say. I've gained some weight, of course. That just happens from these diets, not being able to eat what you want and having to be limited to shit food and just that kind of life. And it sucks, because it's not the life I want at all. But it's a small sacrifice for a long-term benefit. I guess being alone really just showed me like who's really there for me, who really cares about me. I realized a lot while being on the road. I realized a lot while being alone, because every day I am alone. I could talk to people for an hour at most, maybe, which sounds good, but once that call hangs up, it's this silence. It's almost like I'm invisible when I'm on this road, because when people look at a truck driver, they just think he's driving he's working, he's just driving a truck, he's working. They don't think that he's away from the people he loves and everybody for a month at a time and is all alone, literally in this truck for 20-something, almost 30 days straight. And it's funny when I hear a lot of people complain about working like 5 days a week and only getting 2 days off. Like, man, being closed off really does affect you mentally and physically too. It helps you realize a lot of things that are good, but it also makes you think a lot of things that are bad and that are negative. It can almost drive you crazy sometimes. I just don't want to lose touch with anything. I don't want to lose touch with myself. I don't want to lose touch with my family at home, my dog, my beautiful dog Remy, any of my friends. I don't want to lose touch with anything. I want to keep the connections that I have that are good. I've already lost enough that I care about, and I want to hold on to the things that I do have and cherish everything. That's just how I look at life. Anything that I have that I value strongly, I cherish it. Try to hold on to it and not let things like being away and not being there for people. I don't want to let things like that get in the way of that or interfere with it in any way. I've realized a lot that's good. I've been able to stay away from spending money on dumb stuff and being around people that are getting into trouble or just doing dumb stuff or going out all the time and shit like that. Like, that's not me. I go all these places that you guys have probably seen, but that's really like just the traveling part. Like, when it comes to going out and like partying and stuff like that, I really don't do that. And I've been slowly thinking, maybe I should, just to like open my mind up, but it just doesn't ever seem interesting to me. Like chaos, the drunk people, the things like that. It's just not my vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's not the vibes, man. The vibe is different. That is all the same. If you go to any bar, any club, anywhere, it's gonna be the same environment. It's gonna be a bunch of people that are probably lonely, just like me right now, and just drowned in their sorrows. And that's not what I want to do with my free time. My free time, I always try to spend it in a way that I could get better and progress. And if not, I use it to rest, because rest is important too. I've noticed some good things and some bad things, about being alone. And it could be good for you. It could push you to your breaking point, to where you realize you either need to make a change and do something better with your life, or you fall a victim to the loneliness and you get comfortable with it. Being comfortable scares me more than failing at something. I'd rather try anything to make something work or make something shake than get comfortable with what I'm doing and pass up an opportunity to elevate or progress in any way. And I know everybody, not everybody, but there's a lot of people around my age or that may know me that also go through mental things that they don't necessarily know. Even at 24, you don't know what you want to do exactly with your life. Like, you have all these directions you can go, but you don't know which way you really want to choose. And I want to take you guys and whoever watching on the journey to watch me grow and watch me struggle. And I know all of my videos so far, all you've seen really is the successes and the good times. And being alone really helped me find out who's really there for me and who's not. So that's good. And it helped me, like I said, it helped me save money. It helped me find direction in what I really want to do. Because sometimes if you're around all the noise and your life is so chaotic and you have the same schedule and you're just doing the same thing every day, you can get caught up in no longer dreaming, no longer thinking outside of the box. You get so boxed in and you only think one direction. You just think about the next day and the next day and the next day. You don't think about the next month, the next year, the next 5 years. You don't think as far ahead anymore because you're so worried about the next day and the next day, the next day, the next day. So you're so used to that routine. And routine can be good for some people. I'm much more terrified of comfort. Comfort is something I'm uncomfortable with. If I ever get comfortable with something, then I know there's a problem, because I know I can change whatever it is. Because if you get comfortable with negative things and you don't try to change it, you don't try to flex yourself in any way, then you're stuck. And I'm not trying to be stuck in any way. I'm trying to grow every day and become a better person in every way. That's why I'm so heavy on change and development and being open to self-recognition and being able to realize my flaws and where I went wrong and things I can improve in, because that's very important. And that's something I think about a lot while I'm on this road, because every day I think about where I went wrong in certain things and where I could have done better. And I know I don't want this to be like a sad or a low energy video, but I'm just being straight up with you. I'm being honest. You know, I'm talking to you as if I'm talking to any of my friends right now. You know, I mean, I could act hype and all happy, but you know, that's just not what it is every day. Not every day is happy. And I could put a smile on my face and act like everything's all right, but you know, deep down, you know, I'm hurting. Pain is good sometimes. You know, can take some more pain because I got a lot more to gain in my life. You know, I wanna focus on bettering myself every day and not doing stuff to block out the pain and none of that. I face all of it head on. You know, I will suffer now. That way I'm better in the future instead of block it all out now and act like everything's okay and then suffer in the future. You know, and you don't really learn that much when things are always going right because you feel like, you know, everything's supposed to be that way, I guess. But when things go bad, you start to evaluate like why things are going that way or why things haven't been going your way. And so I don't know, everybody goes through a struggle and some pain and I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm perfect because I'm nowhere near it. You know, I'm far from it. Yeah, I'm not here to put on a show or act like everything's always good. You know, I'm gonna show you the goods and the bads of my life and of the things I go through. I'm here to show you guys, of course, that I'm going through things, and I know other people out there are, and no one, you know, nobody should feel alone with the pain, you know. And that's one thing that helps me go when I am alone, when I am dealing with pain, is I know I'm not the only one. I know there's plenty of people out there going through way worse, and that's why I thank God for the position I am in, because you know, I'd rather be in so many other positions right now, but I know there's so many people out there that would love to be in my position. So I'm very thankful for everything that God blesses me with in this life, whether it's good or bad. I've just become more thankful and a lot more patient over this road than when I'm alone. I'm going to stop saying over the road because it's more about being alone. You know, over the road is just what I'm doing for work. But what I'm doing in here and what I'm doing in here is being alone. I've just learned about people and their true intentions with me. Not everybody is who they say they are, and not everybody feels the way they say they do. You know, people tend to tell you what you want to hear and not what you need to hear. I'm not that person. But either way, I'm gonna get to work. I know it's getting late, so the lighting's getting shitty, but I love you guys. I just want everybody to know who also is feeling lonely, anybody who's feeling depressed or not loved or whatever, you're not alone. You're not alone. But thank you guys if you made it this far in the video. I appreciate you. I'm gonna have a lot more videos coming about, you know, why I do this YouTube shit and why I want to do it, and all my ambitions. Okay, you know, I'm gonna run you through everything in my life. I'm not gonna leave you guys in the blind. I'm gonna talk to you guys a lot more and open up a lot more about my life. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. If you like and subscribe, if you want to see more, I would appreciate it though. So thank y'all, vibes.